we just saw Bath put through an absolutely amazing performance, coming back in the second half to put Bristol in their place and show them why Bath is top of the table. So I want to break down this game. What an absolute masterclass from Bath and Finn Russell, Ben Spencer. Everyone was just on point. Second half, oh my word. But before I continue, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's break it down. Let's break it down. So first up, Bristol in the first half were just electric. They were scary. I had predicted Bath to win, and this first half, I was seriously doubting myself. I wasn't sure whether this was going to happen. The way Bristol were playing, they were smooth. They were slick. They were countering at every single point. They were making Bath make mistakes. They were putting simple passes together, making it look smooth, finding space in between that Bath defensive line. Finn Russell was really struggling. A lot of the Bath players were really struggling, and what Bristol went in the lead, and I'm thinking, oh my word, what's happening here? Bath is imploding. What is happening here? Ravovo, he's killing it. He's gaining so much meters on every single attempt. So many of their key players were just absolutely putting Bath to the sword. And I thought, what is happening here? Now, there was an instance with Ravovo, which I tend to agree with the referee in this game. I feel he actually had a pretty good game. But there was an incident with Ravovo where he was already on a yellow card, and he did a little bit of a high tackle. I forget who it was on, but I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think that should have deserved another yellow card? Because it was kind of on his chest, shoulder-ish. It was relatively high, but I don't think there was any danger or anything like that. So I actually tend to agree with the referee on this, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think in relation to this? Should have been a second yellow for Ravovo, right? Because I know that was a pretty big thing. But ultimately, in the first half, Bath was really struggling to keep pace with Bristol. They just put Bath at a pace that they just really couldn't keep up with. Van Rensburg was annoying. He was there. He was making big tackles. The guy was pretty much everywhere. And Bath, they just kept trying to play under that broken attack. And they made meters. Yes, they had opportunities, but every time they would get into the 22 in that first half, Bristol would turn over, they would stop, and it made it very difficult for Bath to really get anything under, you know, to really convert anything. Yeah, they got a couple penalties here and there, but other than that, Bristol were absolutely dominating with that fast-paced play, and they were very fluid. And the players that were there, they just seemed switched on and ready to go. I don't know what Johann van Graan said to those Bath players, but he lit a fire up their backside. He really lit a fire up their backside, because was it first minute they get a try, a couple minutes after that they get another try. They scored 3 tries in the space of 14 minutes in the first half. 3 tries in the first 14 minutes, and ultimately Bristol actually dominated in terms of carries, in terms of meters made. They were practically doubling Bath stats, but it is what Bath ultimately did with the ball. Finn Russell's kicking game was on point. He was deadly. Bath in that second half, when they got into the 22, they were deadly. They were complete opposites. They were complete opposites to what they were in the first half. They looked like a completely different team. They looked solid. They looked ready. They looked switched on, right? Spencer was switched on. Finn Russell, he was just there. He was ready. Ojimo, boom, really strong. Muir as well, really strong. And they all put amazing performances through. Tom Dunn, he played such a key part in this game. Over 20 tackles. The guy was an absolute beast, banging himself in a try as well. He was just that second half, I really don't know what ended up happening, but What a spectacle. What a bloody match to watch. This was a tale of two halves. This was a tale of Bath struggling. They didn't know what they were doing. They they couldn't keep up with Bristol. And then everything started to change. And that's when everything started to change. Things started to fall apart for Bristol. Then they get a yellow. And then all of a sudden we see, oh, Bath are coming back stronger. They're hitting hard. They, they started to shore up a lot of the defensive lines. But most of all, they started to make use of what they had. And that was the biggest thing. Using the kicks when they needed to use it, using that broken play, using that offensive ball. And they played well. Honestly, for me, Finn Russell, he gave a masterclass today. I don't know about you guys, but I am a very, very big fan of Russell. I just feel that he's his own worst enemy. As we saw in the first half, when things aren't going right, it's very difficult to get him out of that swing. But you saw him come out in that. You saw him come out in that second half. He looked fresh. He looked fresh. Coming off on what, the 76th minute ish. That guy deserved everything from that game. There were so many key players for Bath. I can't name them all. What a semi-final performance. This is what I wanted to watch. This is what I was expecting. High flying, electric pace, just absolute demolish, just destruction. And that is exactly what we got. This is the kind of rugby you get from the Premiership. But this is also Bath showing everybody, stay in your lane. We are not out, no matter what you think, no matter who you're going to play us up against. We have two halves in a game. And we can show you why we are first, why we destroyed the league. And now into the finals, they are now going to show why they deserve to win. And honestly, with this performance, I think this has shown resolve. It's shown a very, very big amount of grit and determination, that fight in them, because any other team could have gone in with their heads held low and just kind of, skated through the rest of the game and ended up losing. They showed what it meant to put on that shirt. They showed what it meant to be a player for Bath and the kind of expectations that is needed to be able to play. And they did it. Again, this shows, I don't know what Van Graan said to that Bath team, but they came out and they were ready. They were fired up. 3 tries in 14 minutes, 2 tries in 8 minutes. Their first try, I think, was within the first 2 minutes, including the conversion. Whatever he said was pure gold. He got to fire up their backside, and Bath deserved to win this game. Let me know what you guys think. I want to know where you feel Bristol started to break down. Because for me, it was that forward pack hitting them heavy and that defensive line staying strong. They started to take control away from Bristol. But not only that, they started to make use of every single thing that they had. They got into Bristol's head and they started to make them make mistakes. Like I say, Bristol dominated in pretty much everything in terms of carries, meters made, off the contact. Bath kept stopping them. And we can see what it is. Bristol barely got any points in the second half for a reason. There was a reason for it. Bath were ready. They were switched on. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Please like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.